Hi everyone. Today we're talking about battery. Is your car struggling to start, no start, or showing a sign of weak battery? This video focuses not how to diagnose a battery in the charging system. That's for another day. But today I will guide you through the process of replacing your car battery. First, let's look at the reason for bad battery. There are many factors affecting your battery. Let's see 6 of the main factors. 1. Age. Like any battery, car batteries have a limited lifespan. On average, they last about 3 to 5 years, depending on the usage and maintenance. Second, extreme temperature. Hot or cold weather can affect the battery performance. Number 3, poor maintenance. Lack of proper maintenance, such as not keeping the terminal clean and not securing the battery properly, can lead to corrosion, which hinders the battery. Number 4, parasitic drain. Some electrical components in the car, such as clocks, alarm, external accessories like phone chargers and security cameras, can continue to draw power from the battery. Over time, this parasitic drain can weaken the battery. Number 5, fault charging system. A manufacturing alternator or a voltage regulator can either overcharge or undercharge a battery, leading to its failure. Number 6, short trips. If you frequently take short trips, especially in a stop and go traffic, your car battery may not have enough time to fully charge, leading to gradual depletion of its charging capacity. Regular maintenance, including checking the battery health and ensuring proper charging, can help prolong its life and prevent unexpected failure. Today, I will guide you through the process of replacing your car battery. Before we begin, make sure you have the necessary tool and safety equipment, including gloves and protective eyewear. Like you see, we're removing the bracket and then take the cover and take the fuse cover on the battery. So like you see right now here, the positive terminal was corroded. You can see it's leaving a corrosion all around it. So, after we replace it, we can't put it back. We have to clean this. So to remove it, the first thing you have to do is remove the negative battery. Always start with the negative battery and then do the reverse when you put it back. So remove the negative cable and wiggle it and take it out and put it aside a little bit away from the battery. It's not going to make a contact or a short circuit. So once you remove the negative battery, the next step is loosen up the positive cable. Like you see here, it's corroded, so maybe sticking. So use a pry bar or just wiggle it around and then slowly take it up and remove it. And then this setup, which is the Yukon, the Suburban, and the Chevy, the fuse block, which is the battery terminal, is on the top of the positive terminal, comes with the junction block on the battery. So that have to be removed and then set aside. As you see, I've taken 2 positive cables from the junction block, and then you just take it up. You have enough room to remove the battery. Just put them aside. On the bottom over there is a battery hold down bolt, which is holding the battery. Beside the bracket on the top was holding the battery. This bolt I'm removing is 30 millimeter. You see the bolt, and then the battery hold down is right there. Loosen that using any wrench you want. Maybe you can use a socket, which is with extension, that'd be easier, or any electrical or this kind of tool. So remove that hold down and then see it is clean, and then see the bolts and the terminal is not corroded, and then you can install it back cleanly. So put them aside. Now the battery is already removed, but as you see, that battery is so big and the coolant reservoir is on its way. There is no room to move it out. And if you struggle to take this battery out in this narrow hole, you can damage the coolant reservoir. I have seen so many of them cracked and leaking. So the best way is there are 2 bolts, one in front right here and one in the back. So push the air box aside and you find 10 millimeter bolt down by the coolant reservoir. So loosen that bolt. Make sure it's not gonna fall down or find it. But take that bolt. You can use a flashlight to look at it. And then there is another one at the back of this coolant reservoir. Once you take these 2 bolts, it's easier to lift up the coolant reservoir and put it to the side. If there is any electrical connector holding it or any other issue, remove it, take the bolt out and put them on the side. So this way now you have more room to remove the battery. It will be easier. You're not damaging anything because this coolant reservoir could be hot and with a little pressure could crack. So I've seen so many of them crack. Once you take it out, put the battery and see the width, the thickness and the height was similar to the old one. You're replacing the same kind of battery. And the other thing you see is read the rating. Every battery have cold crank ampere. That's the amount of cold cranking amperage, which is showing the power of the battery. So make sure those same kind of rating, the same amperage, the same cold crank ampere within the battery you're replacing it. And then remove this pad. There's a cover for positive end terminals, and then put this pad. This is good for absorbing a corrosion or if there is any moisture, if there is leak, so it's easier to absorb it instead of making corrosion. So install those in different color, red for positive and green for negative. That makes it easy to install it, so you know which way the negative goes, which way the positive is there. So it's easier. Everything is clear now. Put it, install it, make sure it's sitting in the right place, and put the battery hold down bolt and it tighten to the right amount of torque is needed. Don't over torque it too much because sitting in the battery may crack the case. So to just touch base, torque, tighten, and done. Once done, now you have access to put the coolant reservoir easily. So put it in, and there are two bolts, front and rear, like you have removed it, and then put the nuts and the bolt, one nut and one bolt. One is the front here down there. Yeah, see the flashlight, sneak your hand down and then put the bolt on. Use a long extension to secure it in place. The other things at the back, like you see this one 10mm bolt, that's a nut actually, so tighten those two. Once you done that, put the battery junction block in place and then push it down. It's gonna click to the battery casing. So once you push it down, there are two positive terminal going to the starter and alternator. We just removed it from here. Yeah, put the nut on, see it was the right orientation, forcing it. So like we said before, that positive terminal was corroded and there's a lot of corrosion and sulfur buildup on it. So the best way is to spray the battery cleaner. If you don't have it, you can use a baking powder, a baking soda. Mix a little bit baking powder with the water and then spray on it. It's going to neutralize the acid and then it's easy to clean it. Once you do that, find a brush wire or you can buy this small thing here to brush inside the terminal. That's important. You have to clean inside. So that's baked sulfur. And that's in the corrosion all around it and it's causing a resistance on the battery. So your battery voltage dropping because of that high resistance causing this. So clean inside it, clean around it, make that baking powder or corrosion cleaner. You can buy it from any auto store and clean that terminal. After you do that, it's always advisable to use dielectric grease. This is electrical grease. You can buy it from any store and then apply slightly. So this prevents corrosion and then it seals the moisture or the water from outside. So with this already dressed around it and then there's no leak and then no corrosion or moisture into it, so it prevents from corroding another time again. So that's important thing. And then the pad underneath will absorb any moisture and any corrosion as it leaks. So tighten that, maybe tap it a little bit downwards and then see if that's tight enough, and then secure that bolt, which is 30mm bolt for the two terminal we removed before. That's tightened. So always you remove the negative terminal first and then you install it last. So that's a rule. You don't make any short in case if you touch something. This way you're not causing any short, and that's today's computerized engine. You may cause another issue. So make sure you follow those rules. Negative first and negative last. So clean this terminal the same way. Put those, brake terminal cleaner and then just leave it soak for a while and wipe it clean, and then after you clean it, inside clean. So I'm gonna clean the inside terminal of this. It's a lot of baked acid and corrosion in it, so you can see when I'm cleaning it You can see a lot of powder, and then the corrosion. You can see, yeah. So, and then put that dielectric grease, and then install the negative terminal there. And push it down, wiggle and push it a little bit. You don't need to tap it, but if necessary, yeah, you may. But be careful when you tap it down. You're not gonna make cause short with the body or any other ground. Now you put in 2 batteries, it's already powered. So you may see a little spark when you touch the negative terminal because there's a load. So there's power. So it's already connected, and tighten that terminal well enough, and I put the cover on the junction block on the battery and put this positive terminal cover. So when you jump start or something, this is prevents any short accidental touching with the ground wire. So you always have to put this cover in place. Once you do that, the last thing you have to do is put the bracket. So the top bracket is like a brace supporting from across to the across. So you have to put 3 bolts, 1 at the side and 2 at the top, and then you just put those back and tighten it. And that concludes today's battery replacement. So once your new battery is installed, start your car and make sure everything is working properly, like setting the clock and setting the radio. And then sometimes it requires you to lift up the window up and down a couple of times, and just to find its position, the right position of closing and closing. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more automotive tips and tutorials. Thank you. This is Get Auto.